Good morning. It's Wednesday, 27th of November 2024. With just 10 days until the hotly contested elections, here's what we have coming up in the headlines. Chairman of Works and Housing Committee bemoans mystery surrounding handing over of Saglemi housing project to unknown private developer. And Food and Drugs Authority justifies extension of date of best before on Moshosho rice distributed to senior high schools across the country. We shall tell you more. And former President John Dramani Mahama urges President Acquah to focus on preparing his soul for heaven by refraining from telling what he sees as lies with regard to Dumso. We've got this and more coming right up. This is the GH Today News. My name is Nanama Acquah. You're welcome. Now, Chairman of the Works and Housing Committee and MP for Doma West, Vincent Opong, says he's uncomfortable with the Saglemi housing project that has been handed over to an unknown private developer. Now, the Minister for Works and Housing, Kojo Opong Nkrumah, at the inauguration of the Tema Development Corporation's affordable houses, announced that the Saglemi housing project, which started by the erstwhile NDC government, has been handed over to a private developer for financing and completion. However, Vincent Opong laments that the project has been shrouded in secrecy, and he will subsequently ensure a probe will be launched into the matter.
Government, before even 2017, had the capacity to raise funds to complete this project. And after almost 7 to 8 years of decay, you come just to about 2 weeks elections, you tell them that you handed the project to a private developer, and you expect us to also accept everything without knowing the details of the deal between the government and the private developer. And we all know that the government has had a lot of deals, and eventually you will discover the conflict of interest in this deal. And I'm telling you, I am not someone who is so comfortable with this private developer, because in future, how do you put your money in a project like this? If you really you have to get value for money. You don't have to put your money in a project like this, because I am sure there will be a new government, and we would like to know the deal, because it has been shrouded in secrecy. The committee doesn't know anything about it, and I'm not very sure that there was broader consultation, if it went even through competitive process to even procure that private developer. All this is we need to go through, find out how the processes went before they were able to procure that private developer.
The Food and Drugs Authority has justified why the best before date on the rice allegedly repackaged by Lamens Investment Africa and distributed to senior high schools was extended. At a media engagement, Chief Executive Officer of the FDA, Delise Mimidako, confirmed that 22,050 kg bags of Moshosho rice imported from India at the time they tested was safe for consumption. This follows allegations made by the Member of Parliament for North Tong, Samilo Kujutu Ablakwa, who claimed that a total of 22,000 bags of expired and repackaged rice were distributed to various senior high schools across the country.
According to the Chief Executive Officer of the FDA, Lamens Investment Africa Limited was sanctioned for 3 key violations: operating a facility on license for rice repackaging, conducting repackaging activities without FDA approval, and undertaking the process without supervision. The FDA also clarified that The 100,000 Ghana cedis fine imposed on Laments were for these multiple regulatory violations and not for the quality of the Moshosho rice imported from India.
On December 20th, 2023, the FDA Kumasi office received reports of repackaging of rice in a NAFCO warehouse. The FDA Kumasi officers, accompanied by officers from the police service Kumasi, inspected the facility, which was previously locked by the police, and confirmed the repackaging activity and resealed the premises. Subsequently, an administrative fine of 100,000 cedis was imposed on the importer for the repackaging, contrary to the provisions of the Public Health Act of 2012, Act 851.
The FDA further clarified why the best before date on the rice allegedly repackaged by Laments and distributed to senior high schools was extended.
The FDA Center for Laboratory Services and Research also did a thorough review of the analytical reports from the CSIR, FRI, and the FDA's own confirmatory analytical report of samples that were submitted by the Enforcement Directorate. And they confirmed that the rice was wholesome at the time of the analysis.
She added that the authority would not jeopardize the health and safety of Ghanaians, especially children or students, for any reason.
The FDA wishes to assure the public that it confirmed the wholesomeness of the consignment of rice in question and gives assurance that with all the other certificates that were submitted from India, from PPRSD, from CSIR FRI, and concluded that the rice was wholesome before it was released for distribution.
While many Ghanaians remain skeptic about the decision of the authority to extend the shelf life of the product, the authority insists the decision is justified. From the headquarters of the Food and Drugs Authority, Obed Kingaglo for GHOne News.
On to some political stories. Former President John Dramani Mahama has responded to President Akufo-Addo's claims about the erratic power supply, also known as DUMSO. The National Democratic Congress candidate said the president must acknowledge that the power supply challenge had been resolved before he handed over power in 2017. Speaking during his tour of the Western region on Tuesday, John Dramani Mahama alluded to the Bible, urging the president to focus on preparing his soul for heaven by refraining from telling what he sees as lies.
You know, liars cannot go to heaven. And let me give you a Bible quotation. Proverbs 19, chapter 19, verse 9. It says, those who bear false witness will not go unpunished, and the liars will be destroyed. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 9. I expect that when MPP is telling lies, they'll leave it to the younger ones and the junior ones to do. And when the senior ones like Nana Akufo-Addo says that DUMSO was not solved before we came, I heard him say that we could not keep the lights on. How can we run 24-hour economy? In 2016, DUMSO had been solved. Nobody's lights went off in 2016. Nobody had load shedding in 2016. That is on record. Go and look at Gridco records. Go and look at ECG records. Nobody had load shedding in 2016, and that is a fact. And he himself knows that DUMSO was a generational problem, and that it was because of the lack of addition of generation over the years that crystallized in my time. But I did not do what he has been doing, shifting the blame to somebody else. I went to Parliament and I said I was elected to solve the problems of Ghana. I accept responsibility for the energy crisis and I will fix it. And I fixed it. From January to December to the following January, when we handed over to Nana Akufo-Addo, he should bear true testimony. DUMSO had been solved.
The Ghana Mine Workers Union have called on President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to consider the passage of the new Labour Bill into law before he leaves office on January 7, 2025. Addressing the union's National Executive Council meeting, General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Abdul Mumin Bana, challenged the TUC to move beyond its comfort zone and provide the decisive leadership that Ghanaian workers expect from a national labour centre.
Mine Workers Union staged a spirited campaign, and for the past 5 years have intensified this campaign, calling government's attention to the urgent need to review the current Labour Act 2003 Access 51 to deal comprehensively with the implementation gaps and challenges to make sure that it responds to the changing needs of the actors in the industrial relations space. We are aware that some work has been done because the Ghana Mine Workers Union and by extension the TUC have participated in the process right from the outset of the review of the Labour Act and have been very hopeful that the revised law or the new Labour Bill will be passed into law to provide Ghanaian workers some decent protection before the current president brings his leadership to an end on January 7, 2025. The Ghana Mine Workers Union stands in complete opposition to anything anti or anti-Ghana and will from 2025 embark on spirited campaigns aimed at clamping down on corruption, illicit financial flows, and many of the things that draw us back as a nation. Let me therefore use this opportunity to call on the TUC to shift from its comfort zone and offer the required leadership the working people of this country are looking for in a national center like the TUC.
Now, the chiefs and people of Shiabu in the Ablekuma West constituency are appealing to the government to construct the sea defence to prevent continuous destruction of property by tidal waves in the area. Currently, the road network through the community is gradually washing away, a situation that threatens the livelihood of the residents. Speaking during a community engagement, Shiabu Manche bemoaned the neglect of the community by the government and called politicians to assist the community with quarry stones and not campaign items to win elections.
And this to be true, for you to know, we said the previous government, the NDC, they started their construction of the sea defense, and they did it from Glefe, the Pamblos, and then they ended at what you call the Dansoman Beach or Acquah. The MPP is another political party, another strong political party, of which our brothers, our sisters, and some of us all belong to. They also made a promise to also continue the work and certify as protect life and property. But at this juncture, you can all witness that all that have remained verbal promise with no action. The delay in the provision of the sea defense, which I earlier described as just common stones being dumped here, is the main cause of all the problems we are seeing here. It is the main cause banks don't want to come here. We are, however, appealing to the press and the distinguished authorities for the real help. If I mean real help, by now you understand from my words that I'm only referring to quarry stones and nothing like cement. Nothing more like campaign items like shirts and those things. It is sea defense which we are just looking for. Stones at the sea side where we are sitting.
The First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, is admonishing residents of Goblokofi to support healthcare workers in maintaining the newly built community-based health planning and services compound. The CHIPS compound serves as a first point for medical matters in undeserved areas. At the inauguration ceremony of the CHIPS compound in the Acquah North constituency, the First Lady urged the people to patronize the facility's services.
Rebecca Akufo-Addo Foundation initiative to improve healthcare access and quality in rural communities, the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, in collaboration with the Infanta Malaria Prevention Foundation, a non-governmental organization, have commissioned a state-of-the-art community-based health planning and services compound in Goblokofi of the Acquah North constituency in the Eastern region. Addressing the inauguration ceremony, the First Lady entrusted management of the District Health Directorate and health staff to take good care of the facility.
I wish to urge you and the community to collaborate with the health workers to take good care of the facility and the equipment. I also urge the community to patronize the services provided here. I know that a midwife would soon be posted here permanently because we have delivery beds, autoclave, and all the equipment that you will need provided here. Mr. Chairman, let me please use this opportunity to thank the people who contributed funds to Infanta Malaria Prevention Foundation to make this project a reality.
The modern healthcare facility is designed to serve healthcare needs of approximately 20,000 residents in the sub-district. The Chief's compound boasts of impressive array of amenities, including an outpatient department, a labor ward, laboratory, pharmacy, and consulting rooms.
NASCO Feeding Minds, a not-for-profit organization dedicated to providing free ICT training to young people in rural and hard-to-reach areas, has launched a coffee brand dubbed NASCOffee to support its initiatives. According to NASCO Feeding Minds, this endeavor aims to expand its nationwide reach by empowering youth through technology.
The venture, a collaborative effort between NASCO Feeding Minds and Impact Bridge, seeks to source local coffee from smallholder farmers in the Volta region for export, with proceeds invested in ICT training.
Well, at the heart of what we do at NASCO Feeding Minds is to create opportunities for young people. As we narrated earlier, we started NASCO Feeding Minds as a result of the experiences that my brother went through, and upon arriving in Europe, influencing me to stay in Ghana and study, we formed synergies to form NASCO Feeding Minds to create opportunities. So at NASCO Feeding Minds, we are dedicated to training young people with digital and software engineering skills, where we get them to work for European companies. This we have been doing for 10 years.
Chief Executive Officer of Impact Bridge, Arturo Beutu, emphasized the importance of creating sustainable means of livelihood for vulnerable individuals in society through collaborative efforts.
We've been collaborating with Usman and with Banasco for the last 5 years and finding and designing this project that we're launching today. We believe that as impact investors, we need the help of governments, we need the help of foundations, but also through business we can create a positive and sustainable impact. So we're starting today a business that we hope is going to be profitable, but through the operations of the business we can create a positive impact in Ghana.
Notably, NASCO Feeding Minds has trained over 1,000 youth in ICT over the past decades.
And that's what we have for the GH Today News this morning. My name is Nanama Acquah. For more news updates, click on starfm.com.gh. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.